Hello everybody, welcome back to another Phoenix Wright video. Rachel here. As you can tell, we're continuing with episode 5 of the third game of the original trilogy. February 9th, 9:47 AM, District Court, Defendant Lobby 1. Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. Or not. And in any case, whatever it was he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. No, I believe that nun will be the first to go up to the stand. She claims to have seen the instant which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Mr. Lee Stonham, right? Very well, then. Yes? Don't worry, I made the necessary arrangements. Iris, it's a prosecutor's job to doubt people. Right now I'm a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe to the end. That's what my friend told me once. I simply ask you watch and decide for yourself whether or not I'm fit to do what I've been entrusted to do. I bet I already know who the prosecutor is. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Indeed. Yep, knew it. I knew it was her. I knew it was he called her back for this. I knew it'd be her. Yes, Your Honor. I believe you're imagining things, Your Honor.
Hold it!
I have no objection to the whip. The prosecution could wield the whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there's only one truth, and that's what I stand here to prove today. I knew it was her. I freaking knew it. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. I freaking knew it. So it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for a back pain-plagued witness. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. It's gonna be so weird being Miles.
Objection!
Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on the powers of observation and memory, after all. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
Objection!
But that's completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hasakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. Oh, excuse me. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick.
Objection!
Wait, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-wearing hood, correct?
Objection!
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. This judge. His imagination is as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours?
Objection!
Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyways. However, I think you're overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, the fall was after she was killed. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant had stabbed and killed the victim in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? God, this is weird. It's still weird being him.
Objection!
Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Donham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would have left a blood stain, don't you think? Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. Yeah, I don't think so. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. With the whip. Perfection's an impossibility, Con Karma, and I'm here to teach you that.
Hold it!
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? What? Her clothes were a blood fleck? Should I press the point further? Going back to your previous statement, you said you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say you saw the victim bleeding? Pulling the sword out. More important than you could know. You can't draw that sword out smoothly. Not that sword.
Objection!
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so, but there's too many contradictions here. In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt in the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of those are completely impossible. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for it.
Objection!
That isn't the only issue here. If the sword was really stabbed up to into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem with the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade's left in, it acts like a plug. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
Objection!
I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. This is one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. Having come this far, there's only one answer. The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishito. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think the sword was the murder weapon? Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, this is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichishito was the murder weapon. If that's so, I'd like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon go? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution would enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. You're doing good, Wild. You what? Impossible. What else could this old woman have seen? That doesn't mean anything. Did she really go to the river to dispose of a murder weapon?
Objection!
I admit this photograph proves something. It proves the snowmobile was used the night of the murder. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon in the river and returned. If this was the case, then there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks? No, it was supposedly raining. The tracks in the river were covered by snow. Nice theory! However, Miss Von Karma, that's not possible. No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you saw the crime. Of course, that means the weapon was thrown away after that, correct? On that note, please look at the dad's weather report for Eagle Mountain the night of the murder. Snow started falling at 7, but it stopped at 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11, the snow had already stopped falling. It's impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. What? How did she pull that off? I've come this far, no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Where's that crime photo?
Take that!
Ultimately, all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed. Incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything's covered with snow, with one exception. The victim herself, Miss Elise Donham. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer's simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then this photograph, in this picture, there should be two sets of tracks. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it could be understood they were headed for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Then when did this person return to Hazakura Temple? The snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. But Iris never said she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. But that is impossible. So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in the photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. A witness, huh? Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out in that night. Your Honor, actually there is just maybe one person who may be of help to us. I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that come to mind. First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. This individual I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he's our kind of idiot.
Take that!
This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donham. That's... I could tell him all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He's, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee this is the reason. I intend to extract that from him right here in the courtroom. I believe he's in the gallery for the trial. It wouldn't take long to summon him. Larry. Oh, this dork. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm gonna get everything out of you. This is gonna be one of the longer ones, obviously. Because I'm sure there's gonna be an investigation section after the trials. There usually is. Not always, but usually. February 9, 11:15 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby 1. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. First, about that night, you really didn't go to the Inner Temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Very well, and the second thing then. That night, the temple and snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she saw the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 that night. Were you the one that used it? So it was you? But why? What made you go to Dusky Bridge? Oh, for fuck's sake. Yep, knew it. Oh, wow. 5 of them. Iris. Yet? Her? The Acolyte, huh? She must mean Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham? As I thought, no Cyclops. Very well. It's my job to get the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Vicious behavior? Yep, he drew Carbuncle. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. There he is. Frickin' Larry. Ow! Larry, this isn't an art store, now is it? I presume you wanted to say field work, I hope. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand that mangled train wreck of a sentence. Yeah, he deserves that. Larry fucking deserved that. I gotta take some screenshots. There we go. I'm just... He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he's been to others. Sorry, but there was someone at the bridge. Larry Butts, I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. But having realized just how much of a nuisance you've been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. Now, then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder took place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You. Larry, what you need to change is your inner self for now. What you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is what I need from you. Oh, don't worry, it's nothing life-threatening, he just caught a cold. Well, she was worried about Nick. That's a surprise.
Hold it!
You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? And how did the Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Well, should I press him for a little more info? Larry, let me ask you one thing. Why didn't you call anyone? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There is a public phone right by the Dusky Bridge, correct? Your very existence being contradictory. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what happened, correct? I have the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there around 11. That's not possible. 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in the Hazakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard. There's no way Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time. Watch your footing there, Miss Francisca von Karma, the slope ahead slippery, for there's still no way Wright could have been at Dusky Bridge at 11. It's clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15. Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by the flames that night. In fact, he didn't arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11, but Wright didn't make it there till at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during those missing 15 minutes? Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes and there's a phone right next to it. Why, then, did you not report the accident? And therein lies the problem. For even after the bridge had burned out, he was still there. Staring into space, his witness didn't even try to fulfill his civic duty. Ah, but this is Larry we're talking about, and he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for it. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us the whole time. Yes. Oh, God. including the truth of the sound of it. Not at all, Your Honor. There's one large doubt that still remains. This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. Will I?
Hold it!
Sketching the burning bridge. What came with it? What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what's depicted. Larry, I wonder if you could show us, please? Imagine what? Show it. Oh, this is gonna get ugly. Look at his face. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mystery flying object, Larry. The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate-looking figure? However, I might want to ignore it, I can't. Larry, please, answer the next question honestly. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge engulfed in flames? Are you... We all were in on that one. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back. What? Me? Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron.
Objection!
Larry, what did you really see? Not that I particularly care. If that's truly the case, then there's one thing we can say for sure. That the person who flew over the bridge couldn't have been the defendant, Iris. Tell us, Larry, according to this picture, the individual who you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Maybe suggest it was Wright who took flight? I think you understand what I mean. What? Oh, for fuck's sake. What? Definitive? You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain the whole time, trust me. That's that amethyst sphere. That was half buried in the snow. Oh my, it's blood. What blood? Didn't you want to be called Larice Dunham a few minutes ago?
Objection!
Larry, that night there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. Miss Elise Dunham, the mentor to a stupid idiot. I have a photo over here. At the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff found at the scene of the crime. If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly wasn't Iris. After all, she wasn't wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found at the landing site wasn't hers either.
Objection!
You honestly believe that? Miss Francisca von Karma, the only people who accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe it has nothing to do with the case?
Objection!
She makes a valid point. There's no evidence at least Dunham left the temple that night. However, somehow the crystal sphere can be proven to drop before she was killed. Then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Can I prove it? Can I prove the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder? Can I prove it isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he would do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do it. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I'll prove this crystal sphere is a vital link to this. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am cornered. This crystal sphere is half buried in the snow, correct? That's all I needed to hear. Your testimony makes one thing clear. When this crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was slightly. On the other hand, let's look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier, there's no snow on the victim. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose. This sphere, there is blood on it, right? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge.
Objection!
Just who is the fool, and which part is still foolish, Miss Von Karma? That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more bluntly, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. If that statement is true, the Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon wasn't removed, therefore, thus no bleeding. No, I know how. I think I know how. I made it this far only if there's no place to take this. I just need to prove that my version of events is plausible. On that snowy night, there's only one way a body could be moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. What do you mean? You're too late, and in fact the defense has proved something else entirely. We've shown that this case requires to be further investigated. Where was the victim, Elise Dunham, actually killed? If her body was moved, for what? And finally, what does this image mean? This witness certainly sits on the lowest possible branch of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he's enamored. He drew this, so it's something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part. It's just as I thought. Francisco von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. There was one reason and one reason alone for me being here, to expose the darkness lurking in the case and then pass it to Wright. A shame. What a shame. Yeah, I saw that coming. And with this, the rest is up to you, Wright? Oh, okay. Well, that was the end of that. Okay, then. Well, I guess that was the end of part 2. I thought there would be an investigation stage in part 2, but I guess not. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time with whatever. Bye!